Hey, welcome to Hungry Nordic. I'm Amanda, and today I'm hungry for chocolate, as usual. And this cookbook, the Nordic Cookbook, has a recipe for chocolate balls that I'm very excited to try. Today I'm going to try doing half the recipe with butter and half the recipe with coconut oil, so you guys can see what difference there is. I suspect it's pretty small, but until I've done it for myself, I won't know. Without further ado, let's get cooking. By the way, if I were doing this for someone who had an allergy to milk, I'd be doing something very different, because using the same utensils when someone's got a sensitive allergy to trace amounts is a big no-no. But this is just for showing you what the consistency looks like with using coconut oil versus butter. So sharing a bowl is not a big deal. Before I tasted them, it was definitely easier to make them with butter, because butter goes from being very solid when it's frozen to semi-solid at room temperature and doesn't become totally liquid until it's very warm, even hot. Whereas coconut oil goes from rather solid above about 74 degrees to very liquid when it's warmer than 74 degrees. And the transition is much more delineated. The other question is, how do they taste, right? I should have made those a little smaller for the sake of being polite and not talking with my mouth full on camera. Aside from being a really big mouthful, I should have made them smaller. Those are delicious. With the butter, the consistency soft enough to be chewing, with ease. It all holds together firmly enough though that it keeps its shape as I'm chewing, so I actually have something to chew. The oats can give it a very nice chewy texture, and the granulated sugar does give a little bit of this like crystallized crunch in there alongside the oats. And of course, it's a chocolate ball, it's delicious. This is a wonderful, rich dessert. And the flavor is very straightforward chocolate, sweet chocolate, kind of like hot cocoa, a rich hot cocoa kind of chocolate. I think the fact that I left out any sort of vanilla flavor because I didn't have vanilla sugar is another note of just an aromatic aspect to it with the vanilla, but it is still delicious, chocolatey, just straightforward chocolate without the vanilla in it. All right, now I'm gonna try one of the coconut oil-based chocolate balls. It's firm because it's still cold from being in the fridge, and a few of those pieces of coconut are falling off, but most of them are sticking on quite nicely. I don't know if I want to try biting off a little bite of this so I can talk more easily. So I actually could just bite off a little piece this time so I can talk. It is almost the exact same flavor. Straightforward chocolate flavor. The chocolate flavor is a little bit more forward. It's still very rich. The texture, since the coconut oil turns liquid, it actually does have a slightly different texture. I kind of like how it kind of has a melt in your mouth effect, because the coconut oil does become liquid so quickly at warmer temperatures. The crystals of the sugar do stand out a little bit more, though it's got a little bit more of a grainy crunch to it with the sugar with this one. And that would be really easy to use a super fine granulated sugar, which is actually what you're supposed to use with this, is a baker's sugar that is a much finer granule. My grocery store didn't have it on hand, so I thought, oh, I'll just use regular white granulated sugar. If you're in Europe, I think it's much easier to find caster sugar with that super fine granule. But this is delicious as it is. So good. Actually, that's kind of interesting that the chocolate flavor stands out so much more. Don't get me wrong, both of them taste great. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy these. They're so rich, I don't know if I'll be able to go through all of them at once. Bottom line, if the only oil or shortening type thing that you can use is coconut oil, you can do it. It is delicious. If you have options that don't go straight from solid to liquid so quickly, whether that's butter or some sort of margarine, that will make it easier to form the balls, but either way, it is a delicious treat that anybody would be happy to enjoy at a party. Thanks for watching, and see you later!